Hey everyone, welcome back to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. If you're new here, tap subscribe, drop a like, and tell us in the comments what authenticity means to you. Because tonight's story hinges on that one word, authenticity, and how one woman turned it into both armor and light. This time, that woman is Yağmur Yüksel, and right beside her, steady as a heartbeat, is Barış Baktas. London felt different last night. The kind of night where the city seems to inhale and hold the breath of 1,000 cameras at once. The Harper's Bazaar Women of the Year 2025 ceremony was unfolding, that rare gathering where elegance isn't just worn, it's earned. The chandeliers glittered, the carpet was a river of velvet, and yet when Yağmur stepped into that room, something softened. The chatter thinned. Heads turned not because of sequins, but because she carried a calm that wasn't pretending to be anything else. When the announcement came, Women's Empowerment Award, Yağmur Yüksel, it didn't sound like a headline so much as a truth everyone already knew finally being said aloud. She smiled, the kind that warms without performing, and the applause rose like a wave. It wasn't just a trophy moment. It was the culmination of a woman daring to be seen without the armor of perfection, and of a couple who have made honesty feel glamorous. Hours earlier, she had posted a pair of photographs that set the tone for everything. The first was from morning. Hair caught in a loose tie, face unpainted, a simple t-shirt, sunlight pooling across an unstyled kitchen table. The second arrived that evening, her in a soft, sculpted gown that felt like smoke and moonlight, her expression bright but unforced. Between them, you could see the journey, not a miracle, not sorcery, just a truthful before and after. Her caption was mischievous, unmistakably her, a playful salute to the team who, in a few relentless hours, transformed a sleepy morning human into a red carpet vision. She didn't make it a solo performance. That's not her. The post became a backstage roll call. She tagged the hair whisperer who negotiated with rebellious strands, the makeup artist who painted light rather than a mask, the stylist who made last-minute magic with a stitch, the publicist who quietly soothed nerves, the assistant who fetched water and jokes in equal measure. Her message to them read like a hug, for the sweat, the laughter, the panic, the tiny victories only a team notices, thank you. She made room for everyone who made room for her. The comments poured in within minutes. Beauty without the illusion, one wrote. You remind us it's okay to be seen, said another. A long thread turned into personal confessions, first jobs, first stages, first times people felt they didn't need to hide. Even through a screen, the sentiment was contagious. It wasn't about being flawless, it was about admitting the process and inviting us to witness the steps. Then came the moment that broke the internet with a grin rather than a shout. Buried among the thousands was a comment from Barış Baktas, short, dry, and devastatingly sweet. No fireworks, no flowery language. Just, hair, mission accomplished. The kind of line that sounds tossed off and yet lands like a wink only two people share. People lost it, in the best way. Screenshots flew around. This is what partnership looks like, someone wrote. No performance. Just a private joke, gently shared. Yağmur replied with a nod to an old memory only their real fans remembered, the time Barış had his own big hair moment before a premiere and couldn't stop laughing at himself in the mirror. One sentence from her. A small spark. And suddenly the comment section was a festival of inside jokes, affectionate teasing, and the kind of laughter that doesn't need a punchline. Of course, the internet did what it always does, it made comparisons. Not unkind ones this time, but dream-weaving ones. Some felt she channeled an ethereal thread from the golden age of cinema. Others said the look was purely, unmistakably her. Threads popped up imagining the next project for the couple, sketches of scenes, pitches for stories, fantasy posters crafted overnight. Two names began to move together through timelines like a tide, Yağmur and Barış. Not as rivals. Not as opposites. As complementary light. If you're still here, you're feeling this one. So take a moment. Like the video, tell us your favorite moment so far, and make sure you're subscribed to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. We don't just follow headlines, we follow the heartbeat underneath them. While London was echoing with claps, their careers were humming at their own frequency online. Yağmur's fresh digital series, Parallel Hearts, The Azure Moon Hotel, exploded beyond Turkey's borders, trending in Spain, catching fire in Italy, finding fans who didn't even share a language but understood the rhythm of its humor and tenderness. The premise was clever, the writing had that playful ache audiences crave, and yes, leading opposite her was Barry's, bringing a warmth you can't manufacture. It turns out, when a real connection writes itself into fictional scenes, viewers don't just watch. They lean in. And that wasn't the sole triumph. Her talk series, On the Record with Yağmur, quietly built an empire episode by episode on a global platform. It felt less like a show and more like a gathering where people exhaled. Guests laughed until they teared up, then spoke truths they didn't mean to share, then laughed again. There's a corner of the internet where fans trade favorite lines, not for the comedy alone, but for the relief of feeling less alone when the credits roll. One message that circled widely said it cleanly: she doesn't only entertain. She helps you breathe. In a world that sometimes edits reality with surgical precision, Yağmur's refusal to hide the unpolished parts stands out. She'll post barefaced, wander into vulnerability mid-interview, interrupt a polished sentence to admit she's nervous and then laugh at herself. It's disarming. It's also a quiet rebellion. And with Barry's right there, ribs nudged, jokes shared, silence held, the picture that emerges isn't an illusion. It's a partnership making room for both spotlight and shadow. That's why audiences talk about her as more than a performer. She's a teller of truths who can be funny without cruelty, soft without weakness, hopeful without naivete. Her characters aren't paper dolls, they trip, say the wrong thing, fix it, and move on. They get loud, they go quiet, they try again. And when they fall apart, they gather the pieces in their hands and keep going. The women she brings to life feel like neighbors, friends, older sisters, younger selves. Backstage before the ceremony, while other rooms buzzed with fittings and touch-ups, her corner hummed with ideas. Legend has it she was mapping out the second season arc of On the Record with Yağmur while a last-minute hem was secured. That's her in a single image, at an event, but also at work, building the next conversation, the next window for someone else to step through. When a team member asked if she wanted a moment alone, she said she was fine, but lifted her phone to check notes anyway. Creation is her resting state. When her name was called and she walked toward the podium, she didn't smooth the nerves so much as make room for them. The first sentence caught slightly, then found its footing. She spoke about stories that live where the laugh breaks into a tear and where the tear dissolves into a laugh. She spoke about mothers and daughters, about friends who show up with soup and sarcasm, about the unseen hands that hold a person together right before the spotlight hits. She said she wanted to tell every one of those stories and leave none behind. The applause wasn't polite. It was full-bodied. People in the balcony seats were on their feet, and there were glints of wet eyes even along the back rows. The next morning, British outlets reached for a label and landed on something that fit unusually well: the global face of Turkish warmth and wit. It traveled everywhere by noon. Her connection with Barry's isn't new, and it doesn't need a soundtrack. Years of shared sets, long drives home under neon lights, coffee that went cold and scripts that got better as the sun came up, they've been collecting moments like that since the start. Sometimes they work side by side. Sometimes one steps forward while the other steadies the frame. Their chemistry doesn't require choreography. It's just there, built out of private jokes and public grace. Watch the way he thanks her when the cameras aren't pointed at him. Watch the way she threads his name into gratitude posts as if it's impossible to thank the teen without him included. That, right there, is the part of empowerment that isn't a speech. It's how they lift others as reflex, how they insist on saying the sound person's name, how they let the costume assistant photobomb the frame and call it a cameo. They've turned partnership into an art form that makes space for everyone. Look at the line of work behind her and beside him, the comedies that are actually love letters to imperfection, the dramas that allow grief to be clumsy, the scripts that let women be stubborn without apology and tender without explanation. She doesn't write a single kind of woman, she writes the truth of how they shift across a day and a decade. That's why nothing about last night felt like a surprise. It felt overdue in the nicest way. After the ceremony, the corridor outside the hall became a parade of congratulatory embraces. She joked with a photographer about one rogue curl that had a mind of its own. Bari slipped a jacket around her shoulders when the draft from an open door met satin that wasn't meant for winter air. Someone asked for one more picture, and she suggested they bring the hairstylist into the frame. That photo is the one people saved. The glamour at the center, yes, but also the hands that built it. As the night dissolved into morning, the post that started it all kept collecting voices. People who hadn't planned to comment found themselves writing paragraphs about the first time they were brave in small ways, showing up for an interview without hiding a scar, making a presentation with a shaky voice, stepping out in a dress that felt too bright until it didn't. Under it all, a message beat steadily. Be real. Be kind. Be yourself. That combination changes a room. So, what about you? Did last night feel like the moment when a long-sung chorus finally reached its last note? Was this the recognition that was always waiting for Yağmur to claim? And tell us this, too, would you like to see Yağmur, Yüksel and Bari's backed as headline a full-length feature together, a sweeping love story, a clever comedy, or something that bends both into one? We want to hear it. Drop your thoughts, your dream castings, the scenes you picture while scrolling. And don't leave without showing some love to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Hit like, share this with that friend who texts you outfit breakdowns, and subscribe so you never miss the moments that matter beneath the glitter. Because if there's one lesson last night wrote in big letters across London's sky, it's this: the most beautiful transformation isn't the dress or the lighting or even the trophy. It's the choice to stop pretending you're untouchable and to start being exactly who you are, in front of everyone. That's where the power lives for Yağmur. That's where the magic keeps happening for Bari's. That's the story we'll keep returning to, the one where honesty walks the carpet, holds a hand, and lights the room without trying. And somewhere, saved on thousands of phones, that two-photo post will keep speaking. Morning to evening. Plain t-shirt to pastel glow. A caption turning gratitude into a punchline and a love letter at once. A single understated comment from him, a quick-witted reply from her, and the laughter that proves you don't have to shout to fill a space. The ceremony will be remembered for trophies. The night will be remembered for truth. And the truth, as always with them, feels like home.